Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy start to September. We're here kicking off the fall season, or getting close to the fall season, I should say. But really excited to be starting the month off together with everyone here again, as we're bringing you the latest updates here for the Microsoft programs. I know that around this time, this is usually when Microsoft is changing things, so we have a few reminders, a few new updates. And just as always, this is important time, so just a reminder to just keep a pulse check because Microsoft will continue to make some changes up until October when they kick off some of their new fiscal year implementation. But with all of that being said, first and foremost, we're going to kick things off with some introductions, let you get to know who the team is here, who will be speaking today, who will be supporting you on the back end in the Q&A as we're going through today's session. As always, we'll kick things off with standard Microsoft program updates, get you up to date on anything that's changed over the last month. Before we jump into some new SKUs that were released just in the past week, let you get familiar with some of the new add-ons available for Business Premium. Then we'll jump into a quick Copilot recap, just go over, I know it's been a minute since we've talked about Copilot, but just want to go through Copilot's product and some of the new features there before we end things with an enablement update and let you guys know where you can follow up with us on any of the topics that we're discussing today and across the broader Microsoft ecosystem. But first and foremost, for those of you who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting in one of our events, either virtual or in person, my name is Vanda Patel. I'm the Microsoft Enablement Manager here at Pax8, and I'm really excited to have with me today Alex Street, our Senior Microsoft Security Programs Manager, and Sharonda, who will be joining us on the back end as well, our Senior Modern Work Programs Manager as well. So if you have any questions as we're going through today's session, drop them in the Q&A. Our team will be here on the back end monitoring that as we're going through the session. And as always, we'll leave some time at the end for some general Q&A for anything that we may not have touched on in the chat as we're going through. But first and foremost, kicking things off with our program updates. For now, we have some standard reminders. So first and foremost, just some of the new changes coming to the CSP program starting October 1st. So the first one being to retain your indirect reseller status. Microsoft has made some updates here. The things to note are first, the $1,000 trailing 12-month billed revenue at the reseller tenant level. And what that means is if you are a partner, you're doing business in the US and Canada, you need to have that $1,000 trailing 12-month in both the US and in Canada to continue your operations. I know we may also have a few international folks here as well. That same also applies for you as well. If you're doing business in multiple regions, multiple countries, you want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on that billed revenue. And additionally, Microsoft has made some changes to mandatory security requirements. We do have a Learn article here with some guidance on what security requirements earn you what points, but we are still pending on the release of this dashboard for you to be able to monitor this directly in Partner Center. We are following up with Microsoft to see when this will be released, but as of now, no news yet. So stay tuned. Hopefully by the time we come back together at the beginning of October, we'll have an update here. In addition to the program requirements, they've also made some changes to incentives as well. The first one being just up until this last fiscal year, FY25, I know many of you were silver and gold partners. Microsoft has retired that, but you will still be able to earn those incentives and rebates up until the end of this month. However, going into FY26, Microsoft has made the change where you no longer require a solutions partner designation to earn incentives and rebates. Now you can earn 25 partner capability points specific to a solution area to earn that solution area's incentives. So what does this mean? So for example, let's say you are a modern work partner and you want to earn modern work incentives. You want to earn that 25 capability points in either a modern work or the security designation. But let's say you're a partner working across board, right? Let's say you have a strong modern work business and a strong Azure business. You'll want to earn that 25 points in either modern work or security and 25 points in one of the 3 Azure designations. By having those 25 points, you'll be able to earn incentives in both categories. So just as a reminder, going into this next fiscal year, you do not need to have that solutions partner designation to earn incentives. However, if you are looking for the internal user right licenses, you will either need to earn the solutions partner designation or pay for one of the new benefits packages that Microsoft released last year as well. And coming with those incentive changes are the new incentives numbers as well. So we do have a lot of the core incentives here, as well as what you were earning in FY25 as opposed to what you're earning in FY26. These incentives are the same for all partners, regardless of if you earn the solutions partner designation or you choose to go down that 25 capability points path. Again, just as a reminder, when you earn that solutions partner designation, that unlocks the full incentives. Whereas if you choose to go down that 25 capability points, you'll have to earn the 25 points in Modern Work, in BizApps, in Azure to unlock each one of those incentives. One other thing I just want to point out here is Microsoft has replaced some of their customer ad accelerators from the last fiscal year with this new 7.5% accelerator as well across the board for Business Premium, E3, E5, Copilot, BizApps, and Azure. So just a reminder there. But these new incentives numbers will be starting October 1st. So come October 1st, if you do have the 25 points or you have a solutions partner designation, you will automatically start earning these incentives and rebates come that date. And again, if you are still earning incentives in the FY25 plan, that will go up until September 30th as a reminder. And of course, for my Azure partners out there, Microsoft has re-released their Azure Migration and Modernization Program, renamed as Azure Accelerate. This is so for my Azure partners out there, this is just a great way for you to capitalize on some more investment money coming from Microsoft for work that you may already be doing. This new Azure Accelerate program aligns with the SMB specializations, with the release of the new SMB specializations here listed here in the left-hand side. So if you do have one of those specializations and you're going through any of these workloads, just a reminder to take a look at this program, as it is a chance for you to pick up some money that you may be leaving on the table for work that you're already doing with your clients today. And then rounding off some of our program updates, one, just the customer agreement enforcement. So starting October 7th, you will need your clients to update their customer agreement. Available today is just the direct customer acceptance. But we are working with our Pax8 Marketplace team to get the new attestation API plugged into the marketplace. That way, when you're completing orders, it'll still be in the marketplace and you're able to continue that process in the marketplace and retaining that as your single pane of glass. No updates on that just yet, but stay tuned for when we do release that API into the marketplace so you can streamline how your clients are signing their customer agreements. And then lastly, for our program updates, for our next piece of program updates, I know we've been talking about this for a few months now, but the partner of record requirements where you need to update your partner location ID when completing new orders. This has been pushed back from September 1st to December 1st, so you do have a few more months to work through this. But just as a reminder here, with this new update, when completing orders, you want to be using your specific partner location ID where that order is being completed. So if you're completing the order in the US, you want to use your US ID. If you're completing in Canada, you want to use your Canadian ID. And again, just as a reminder for all of our partners out there, Pax8 is currently authorized to transact in US, Canada, all of Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and parts of Southeast Asia. I know for my North American folks, US and Canada is the primary focus, but for anybody who's joining us across the globe, just a reminder here that if you are doing business in any one of these regions, you want to use that specific country's location ID, your specific partner location ID for that country when completing the order. And this will apply for all new orders and for modifications that are being made. And just like the customer agreement, we are working with our marketplace team on a way to validate PLA while you're going through the checkout flow. No updates there just yet, but stay tuned. With this being pushed back to December 1st, it does give us a little more time to make these updates, but we're also working on ways to streamline this for all of you as you're going through your checkout flows. And then last up for our program updates, the last thing I want to just cover is starting October 1st, Microsoft is increasing pricing and storage amounts for certain Business Central SKUs. So if you're looking at Business Central Essentials, Premium, or device, you'll notice that the price has gone up, but so has the storage allotments here as well. So for anybody who is transacting these solutions, just know that the current pricing will be in effect up until September 30th, but then starting October 1st is when you'll see that new price come into effect. Fantastic. And with that, I want to jump into some programs. So still staying with our program updates, but shifting gears into promotions and offers right now. First up is 3-year offers. There are now 3-year offers in the Pax8 marketplace. So if you do have clients who are looking for that longer commitment, just know that is available to you. And if you are interested in that, definitely reach out to your account manager to get that process started in terms of making sure you're getting your customer validated and making sure that that order can go through and unlock those SKUs. With the release of the 3-year offers, there's also 10% off promotions for all of the SKUs listed there up until December 31st. So just an incentive for some of those clients who are trying to get locked into a longer agreement because they know that they will be there. That 10% promo is available for you and your clients to take advantage of until the end of December. And then in regards to other promotions, we're looking a little light right now, but that's just because we're at the turn of the fiscal year for Microsoft. So we do have, up until the end of this month, we do have the 1-year offers for E3, E5, and Copilot. So 15% off of those SKUs up until the end of September. You can take advantage of that offer. Come October, we should see some new promos and offers land, but nothing just yet. And as a reminder, E5 compliance at 50% off when you are purchasing it with a Copilot license. That one's available until 2026. Microsoft has made the change now where you can receive that 50% off as long as you have at least one Copilot license assigned to that tenant. You can take advantage of that 50% off. I know earlier this year it was for every Copilot license, you get an E5 compliance license for 50% off. Microsoft has made that change now, where just the one Copilot license is required to receive that 50% off. And then coming from us here at Pax8, we do have a few promos and offers for you as well. The first one being the Copilot Rewards program. So with Microsoft extending that Copilot 15% off until the end of September, we extended our rewards program until the end of September as well. So on top of that 15% off, you can also qualify for a free month as well when transacting a 12-month term Copilot SKU. Just a reminder, if you are interested in this promo, you do have to enroll. We'll drop that forms link here in just a moment for you all who are interested. And if you've already signed up for the Copilot Rewards program, because I know we've been running this since the beginning of the year, if you've already registered for the rewards program, you are good to go. You can continue taking advantage of it until the end of September, and you don't have to re-enroll in it. But if you haven't registered for this rebate, you do want to do that to make sure that you are earning that rebate. And of course, we do have our partnership with Nerdio. What's amazing here is for all of our partners out there, I know some of your standard fare is upgrading your clients from business standard to business premium. When you're upgrading your clients from standard to premium, just know that you can take advantage of this free Nerdio offer where you can receive their Nerdio Manager for MSP for modern work for 6 months. This offer is available until the end of this year, but Nerdio is a great tool. I know all of my Azure partners out there have heard about Nerdio. Many of you use Nerdio to help streamline your Azure deployments. Nerdio has brought that love to the modern workspace as well. So for any partners out there who are looking to streamline the deployment of Microsoft security features in your business premium, in your E3, your E5 licensing, just know the Nerdio Manager for modern work helps streamline a lot of that. So instead of having to jump through the different admin portals and track where settings have moved through the Microsoft portals, you can use the Nerdio Manager for MSP as your single pane of glass to manage all of that security deployment. And then lastly, I'm excited for this one because it is a newer one that we've announced. For my Dynamics partners out there, or partners looking to get into Dynamics, we do have a Business Central implementation promo. For this, we are discounting certain deployments across the implementation package. So if you're looking to deploy basic accounting, purchasing, or sales features inside of Business Central, definitely book some time with our pro services team to walk through what you're looking to deploy, because you may qualify for that discount in your implementation package. This may seem familiar because we do something very similar when it comes to modern work migrations, when it comes to Azure migrations as well, where we love to have funded offers through our pro services team. And now we've extended that to our Dynamics partners as well. So just a great option for you to take advantage of this, especially if you are delivering some dynamic services right now, or looking to expand your current book of business and offer some dynamics products, but not quite sure where to start when it comes to the implementation. And with that, I'll pop over into the Q&A for just a second while we jump into this next part. But I'm really excited to pass the mic on over to Alex to go through some of the new add-ons for Business Premium. Alex, if we have you, I'd love to pass over.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Bandit. Well, hi, everyone. If you've been coming to these calls for a while, I'm probably a new face. I'm newer to the Pax8 organization, so I'm really excited to be here. And they gave me the most exciting slides. I get to talk about the new features for Business Premium. These are we'll get into the features themselves. We have 2 SKUs, and then actually 3, 2 individuals, and then you can bundle them, and we'll have cost breakdown and details towards the end. But I want to go talk about the features and now what's available from a security standpoint with Business Premium. So we'll hit the next slide. One more after this. Perfect. So just some stats real quick that I thought were pretty interesting, specifically the middle stat. So insiders, when you talk about data security, especially in now the modern work and utilizing AI, which AI can be embedded throughout your organization. It can find different files, different pieces of data. So when you're looking at data across your organization, especially if you're storing data in different siloed systems, insiders account, so insider employees account for 20% of the data breaches. And whether that's negligence or malicious, it's still a good chunk of all data breaches are from internal employees. And that 15.4 million is the total average cost over a 12-month period to try to resolve some of those data breaches. So pretty stark numbers there. And again, this is especially now in the land of AI, where you want to use AI and you want to use it to access your data in appropriate and safe ways and ways that are still in compliance. You still have to look out and make sure you're secure. So we'll go on to the next one. Perfect. And like I said, there's a few different scenarios that could play out when you're looking at protecting your data. And there's 2 main swim lanes, right? It's just pure negligence where employees are using data. They might add sensitive information, pieces of data, download it, save it somewhere within the organization infrastructure. But they're not thinking of, hey, I need to make sure this data is in compliance and secure and has a correct sensitivity label on it or whatnot, especially as organizations grow and scale and people get busy. They're more worried about using the data than protecting the data. And so that's one swim lane to pay attention to. And the next one's going to be more malicious attacks, which this could be very common. This is a perfect example would be an employee's leaving the company, maybe going to a competitor, and they have a USB drive to plug into their computer, and they try to download files onto the USB drive, and they can take it with them in the future. And that happens all the time. So very common, whether it's malicious or negligent. And again, you want to account for both. You don't want to do an either or. And so you need a system that accounts for both so you can make sure you stay protected. The next slide after this. And this is actually pretty fascinating too. I'm sure I mentioned this if you're in the boot camp in Houston, some of these slides will be familiar to you. We talked about this one. I'm sure this list has grown. So every single icon on this screen represents some form of software or technology that is embedded in the AI space. And so I'm sure this list grows daily. That's obviously where society's heading towards. And so just with each of these icons, it's a growing number of threats as well. A growing number of systems that can search out your infrastructure, pull pieces of data, and help your company and use the data in productive ways. But it just makes sure to keep top of mind the security, and the security around protecting your data has never been more important, especially with the list of different tools and softwares that you may not even be aware of, or customers may not even be aware of that their employees are using to do their jobs. Get to the next slide. So when you look at different fragmented solutions, on average, there's about 10 plus that customers and companies use just to secure and govern their data. And again, that's just to secure and govern their data. And as you all know, to store your data and where your data lives within your organization, it's probably a lot more than 10 different systems. But as your data is fragmented across different systems or silos, it's hard to find a security solution that can cover everything in every system, in every scenario. And so then you start to adopt different sideload security systems to protect the different data in your organization. So it leads to exposed of infrastructure gaps that are complex and really difficult to manage. So, and that leads to obviously duplicate copies of data. So it's especially when you have policies, different policies or fragmented policies, what this leads to downloading different copies of data if you can't move the piece of data that you need because of a certain policy, that you can't share it. Lots of times you'll download the data and send it that way via email or Teams to try to get around some of those data security protocols, which can lead to duplicate copies of data, as well as inconsistent data classification is another one where teams, if they're using different softwares or different data security protocols, they have different language and different sensitivity labels and different ways to classify certain pieces of data to where they're not consistent across the organization. So then when you start to try to manage that from the top down, it becomes extremely complex because you're having to account for X amount of systems that the different teams are using as they try to classify all their data. And with that, obviously, everything on the left leads to the right side, which is going to be complex and higher cost, and just a greater overall management burden when you're looking at protecting and all the sensitive information. So that's kind of setting the stage for the need for data security and the tools that Microsoft is now introducing at the business premium level. So we can hit the next slide. Talk about the solution now. And like I said, we have two different products. We have two different SKUs, and we have a third SKU that bundles them together. So this product for data security is going to be Microsoft Purview. And I was at the boot camp in Houston. I'd ask everyone there. We had about 50 attendees, and I'd ask, raise your hand if you feel like you could explain Purview well enough to where you could explain it to someone else. And no one raised their hand. So I think it's a really cool opportunity, not only because of how important it is with AI, but also now because it's available at the business premium levels. Again, Purview is once only available for E5 and then the E5 add-on if you had E3, but it wasn't available to the business premium suite until now. So there's two different aspects of Purview I want to talk about as it relates to protecting the data across the organization. It's going to be the scope of Purview. So what all does Purview cover? And that's going to be some of the features of Purview. So this slide, I want to hit on what Purview covers. And so you see on the screen all the M365 environments, the Copilots, as well as the different AI apps and agents and your data estate. But I want to emphasize too that Purview doesn't just cover data living in the Microsoft ecosystem. Purview extends beyond Microsoft apps. So it's not limited to Microsoft only problems. So the shared capabilities down at the bottom, like the data map, the connectors, be able to classify data, add labels to data, also have some audit visibility to stay in compliance. So those are what we call shared capabilities for Microsoft. And they allow to extend some of that governance and protection to non-Microsoft endpoints, apps, browsers. For example, if you're trying to implement a DLP policy, a data loss prevention policy, you can extend that. You can create that Purview, and it could extend to apps like Salesforce or Dropbox or Google Workspace, as well as different cloud environments. So if you're using Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, Purview can extend beyond the Microsoft stack. So the scope's large. It's not made just for Microsoft. It's made for multi-cloud hybrid environments as well. And then you look at, so that's the scope. And then you start looking at some of the features of Purview, which we'll dive in here more specifically here in a second. But the three main buckets of Purview are going to be data security, data governance, and data compliance. Data security, we have some slides on this. It's really about classifying data. How do you label certain pieces of data as secure? How do you protect some of that information? Governance is going to be more of an Azure focused, but it helps protect the governance of your data estate more so in Azure. And then data compliance is going to be how do you make sure you're in compliance and you're able to pull audit and have some visibility for the compliance aspect. Go to the next slide. So like I said, the three buckets are going to be data security, governance, and compliance. And for today, this will be a high-level talk. We'll mainly stay on the data security. We're going to talk about data loss prevention and information protection and some of the capabilities that Purview offers. Go to the next slide. Perfect. So information protection. I shared this slide at our boot camp, and it's funny, this got some laughs. Anytime I think of insider protection, I think of like super top secret government agencies. So specifically, I said James Bond, and they're dealing with super highly sensitive classified data that only a certain amount of people have access to. It protects individuals, it protects the organization. But that's what I think about. I think of being able to have access to and protect data so only the right people can access the right amount of data. And so the neat thing about Purview is it allows you to do that at scale. Obviously, your two choices are have the system do it at scale using AI, which is what Purview does. It can discover and classify certain amounts of data, built-in labeling and protection. Some examples of this would be, you could set up a policy to where it could search out if a piece of data has credit card information or invoice information or you name it, X amount of information. It can go ahead and auto-classify that data. So you're not having to rely on the creator of the data to remember to classify it appropriately. You can also apply these labels at the container level. So if you have a SharePoint site or a SharePoint folder, those types of things where you can apply the label at that level. So anything that goes into that bucket will be treated with that same label. It will inherit that label so that the information within it can be protected. So that's one of the features of Purview is being able to classify certain individual pieces of data at scale. So you're not relying on users to do so. I'm going to the next one. The next one's going to be more on data loss prevention. So this is really neat too, because you can enforce compliance and different policies to different pieces of data. So an example would be, the context would be organizations may struggle to apply consistent data protection policies across hybrid environments, and you have to manually enforce these, which can lead to gaps. The Purview DLP it can automatically apply the regulatory and internal policies across both cloud and on-premise infrastructure. Again, another scenario would be enterprises use a lot of Microsoft and third-party tools with their customers. And DLP solutions can typically only focus on Microsoft environments, but you can leave gaps elsewhere. But Purview DLP, like I said earlier, it extends to non-Microsoft endpoints and apps and browser services that you can use as well. And with data loss prevention as well, you can set up actions and conditions and actions of depending on the user, it's like role-based. So depending on the user's role within the organization, you could set up different conditions and actions where if they're trying to share sensitive data, you can make them ask for permission before they're allowed to do it, or you can just notify them and say, hey, this data is highly classified, you're trying to do X, Y, and Z, et cetera. And you can customize that too, depending on who the user is and their level of access within the organization. But it's all to protect any type of data from being lost and exposed, whether by negligence or malicious behavior. So those are two features of Purview. We'll shift gears a little bit now, and Purview is more about protecting your data and your data estate, making sure the right people have access to the data, specifically with AI and now the AI is in your environment. The next feature we're going to talk about is more about threat protection. So again, this is separate than Purview. I think Purview integrates well, but this will be more of the defender stack, which we have slides on that in a second. But we're going to talk about the strategy to protect against actual threats and cyber threats and malicious attacks from outside of your organization. Bad actors trying to get access, trying to take advantage of, whether through phishing or through malicious links or malware, trying to get into your environment. So let's hit the next slide. So we can talk about a quick look at why defending today is so difficult. So this is a good example of a typical human-operated, ransomware campaign that we'd see today. And so you could say a user browses to a website with malware. They click on a URL, or they get a phishing email that contains a URL. They open an attachment, and you can see that's a threat from the email side. And then down below, you could see they might have a couple tools just solely for email to protect against that. So they're covered, but it's separate and it's not integrated with the rest of their environment. If they do have one, lots of times those attacks lead to being able to compromise the endpoint itself, so they can exploit the endpoint and get access to it that way. That can lead into having your identity compromised. Again, this could be through the email and endpoints, or it could be through separated, like brute force password guessing, etc. So it's trying to compromise any type of user account to get access into the directory. And then once a bad actor has access to one account, it's easier for them to move laterally across the directory to get access to someone's account who may have a good bit more privilege and access to different resources. And I think that's one of the most important things to call out is you could have so many different security solutions. Like for identity, you could have the, using Entra to have only certain people can access certain amounts of data, which is good. But then if you're not protecting your email and your endpoints, that could still be compromised because someone could get access to someone else's account, and then they can move laterally and ultimately get to your data and your infrastructure and compromise all of your sensitive data. And so it shows you a full picture of just covering 1 year bases is typically not enough. Lots of these actors are smart. They're very methodical, and they just need access to one thing. And usually they could snake their way through and end up getting to your infrastructure over time. And it could be a while before you even realize accounts have been compromised, or endpoints have been compromised, or an identity has been compromised. So that's typically the landscape of siloed security systems. All right, you can go to the next one. So that's really, Microsoft had this in mind when introducing Microsoft Defender, and specifically the Defender Suite. And so the Defender Suite it pertains Defender for Office 365, which is more of your email collaboration, threat protection. Defender for Identity. Defender for Identity is going to be more about on-prem ADs. Threat detection, you have Entra for your cloud identity, but Defender for Identity can reach onto on-premise. You have Defender for Cloud Apps, which we'll talk about in a second. That's just one of the many things in the Defender Suite, and that's for more SaaS visibility control across all of your cloud infrastructure apps. You have Defender for Endpoint, which is obviously all of your devices, and then you have Entra ID P2 for more of the identity, cloud identity, not living on that AD on-prem. Go to the next slide. So we'll talk about, again, there's a lot to talk about with Purview and Defender, so I'm going to just hammer in on really Defender for Cloud Apps and show you some of these capabilities here, and then we'll jump into different cost and pricing as well as we close out. So Defender for Cloud Apps is essentially a cloud access security broker. Helps organizations monitor, protect, and govern all of their SaaS applications. So whether that's M365, Salesforce, Dropbox, Google Workspace, all of the main common ones. It's a security broker, and it helps you monitor all of those. A few of the core capabilities is it has a shadow IT discovery. So it can identify unsanctioned apps being used by employees, like some of those generative AI softwares we had on earlier slide, the dozens and dozens of them. So it can kind of help you monitor and see who's using what. And it uses network traffic logs to detect apps access both inside and then outside the perimeter. It's a SaaS security posture management. So it evaluates apps against over 90 different risk indicators. It helps improve your organizational security posture, so it'll flag different misconfigurations and different compliance gaps. has information protection. So this is really cool because it integrates with Purview. So Purview also has a lot of information protection, and it can help apply some of that data classification, labeling, and DLP policies obviously against all of your cloud apps. So those are two really neat ways that Purview and Defender can integrate. And then also a threat detection response, more of the XDR integration. So it can detect unusual behavior, whether like unusual login patterns or data downloads. And then it can correlate signals across all of the Defender suites, like Defender for Identity, Endpoint, and Office 365. So again, just one of the many capabilities of Microsoft Defender for cloud apps that's available now with the Defender suite. Okay, and we can move on. And this is some of the most important information is how can you actually acquire these, and what are the SKUs, and what's available to you as it pertains to Business Premium. So we'll go to the first one's going to be the Microsoft Purview suite. So typically this is valued at around $19 based off the individual bundles, what everything pertains with Purview. Again, this is included in Microsoft E5 and then through an add-on to E3. And now finally it's being brought as an add-on to Business Premium. So it's $10.50 MSRP to get Purview added. This saves around 50% a license. And again, it helps you type that data security from end to end and helps you stay in compliance. We'll move along to Defender. All right, so Defender Suite is also $10.50. This one, again, this is the full Defender Suite, so Identity, Office 365, CloudPoint. All of that is included, P2, it's all included in E5, but now it's being brought to Business Premium. This is around $30. If you were talking about implementing all those individual Defender Suites products, now the suite added for Business Premium, it's $10.50. And again, it's more about protecting devices, identity, users, etc. All right. Now the last option, like I said, there's two different SKUs, and the last option is to bundle them, which is going to be, and they work really well together, at $15.75. That's a bundled add-on. It's a third SKU that you can add on to Business Premium, and you're saving around 65-70% per license when you bundle these. And again, just a high-level recap, and the two different security options is Defender. It's more about protecting the users, the devices, identities, cloud apps from active threats. So those are active threats outside your perimeter that are trying to get in, and it's securing your environment. That's Defender. And Purview is more so about protecting your data estate. It's more about making sure your data is handled responsibly and you stay in compliance, and you think about governing, protecting, ensuring compliance across the entire organization. So you really have both sides. It's protecting your home base, all the data that lives in your organization, then also protecting from all the external threats beyond just the Microsoft 365 scope. Again, like those third-party tools we talked about. All right. Now, if you're interested, what I'd recommend to, and I know Vanda mentioned this earlier with Copilot, but I know our pro services team, if you're curious about how this can be implemented or how Pax8 can help you and support you as you go to implement this with yourself, with your clients, I would check out our pro services. I know we have some services already built out and defined for Purview in the Defender suite. So we have different options there, as well as, modern market security infrastructure with Azure, and then Biz Apps as well, beyond just Purview and Defender. For the next slide, you should have a QR code. This will take you to one of our landing pages for pro services, so you can check out and get in contact with them and hear what their offers are. And I know I don't know if I introduced my title. I probably should have done at the beginning. So I'm the Senior Program Manager focusing on security with Microsoft here at Pax8. And I know we in Microsoft were planning on hosting some type of event or a deeper dive into some of these features with Purview and Defender. More of a hands-on, less of a slideshow, more of a hands-on demo of what's capable. So be on the lookout for that as well. With these new SKUs launching, we're trying to bring the most awareness to these, so you can make some informed decisions about what's best for your customers.
Amazing, Alex. Thank you so much for sharing. Just before we move on to our next piece, I did see a question from Anthony. I thought this was a good one to touch on while we're live. The first just being, how did these SKUs compare to that E5 security add-on that was released earlier? I know that was a security add-on for E3 specifically, but just wanted to get your thoughts on that in terms of not just feature parity, but what customers might benefit from as well, depending on what M365 license they're using.
Yep. So the E5 security add-on is more tailored towards E3. So if a customer is on E3 and they don't want to move all the way up to E5, that's when they would use that add-on that Anthony you talked about in the chat. These two SKUs are more if the customer is on Business Premium. So these SKUs are only available if the base license is Business Premium. They would get access to these. So I think with the E5 security, and then you also have the E5 compliance. So that's a tit for tat almost for the Business Premium Purview, Business Premium Defender. So E5 security, it'd be the same thing, but again, the base license would just be for Business Premium, and they have that same access now.
Nice, and that's fantastic. I know this is something our partners have been talking about for a while when it comes to business premium security services. I know we heard it from some of our Copilot partners just in the last few weeks, right, when it comes to securing the foundation before implementing some AI solutions. So definitely a great new add-on for Business Premium, and expect to see more come from us here as Microsoft has just launched a SKU last month. We'll be coming with resources and more information for you all to get familiar with these new add-ons so you can start talking to your clients about it. But Alex, thank you so much for joining us. For anybody who has any other questions, Alex will be here on the back end as well. So drop your questions in the Q&A if you do have any questions regarding the new Purview or Defender add-ons, or if you're looking for more information on the pro services offers that are available as well. But thank you, Alex. Fantastic. And with that, I want to jump into Microsoft 365 Copilot. I really just want to do a nice refresher for all of our partners here, just in terms of the opportunity, what's available, and how you want to go to market with some of these things for your clients. So first and foremost, the first thing I just want to touch on is just the opportunity for our managed intelligence providers out there. Because AI is really reshaping how businesses operate, how they scale, and how your clients are delivering value too, right? So as this shift is accelerating, and we've seen it accelerate just in the past year, right? From the release of multiple different AI tools to the advancements in things like ChatGPT, ChatGPT-5, Copilot as well. So as this shift is accelerating, our MSPs, our MSP community needs to evolve and are evolving into these AI-driven models. And we define this really as the managed intelligence provider, which is the future of intelligent tech partnerships. And so if you're looking to succeed with AI in the cloud, you're in a great spot. Pax8 is a great place to be, right? We simplify AI go-to-market strategies by connecting you with the channel ecosystem to award-winning enablement tools and our cloud marketplace, which features consolidated billing, automated provisioning, top-tier PSA integrations, MSP-centric tool integration through APIs. And what's great about all of these pieces, our partners who have been with us have seen an average ROI of 250% over 3 years. So if you've been a partner with us for 3 years, you have the partners who have been with us for 3 years have been seeing amazing ROI when it comes to working with us, when it comes to working through us with our support, education, and marketplace. And what sets us apart is really the unmatched support that we love to offer you through this journey, right? From on-demand learning to instructor-led courses to coaching, professional services. We want to be here to empower you every step of the way. And so how do we really do it? So here we understand that every partner is on a mission to grow their business, achieve operational efficiencies, and ultimately mitigate risks, not just for your clients, but for yourself as well. So here we'll be focusing on this design phase where we go through growth driving best practices, skilling opportunities, as well as just clarifying some of the AI solutions regarding Copilot that are available so you can continue to enhance your customer value. And so jumping into that, what options are available to you when we look at Copilot, right? because Copilot really is the UI for AI, right? It fuses GPT-4o, now most recently GPT-5. If you've hopped into Copilot in the last few weeks, Microsoft has implemented GPT-5 alongside the release of ChatGPT's GPT-5. So both were released around the same time, so you do have that capability. So it fuses GPT-powered chat with intelligent agents and enterprise-grade IT controls into a single secure AI experience. And this is designed to scale with your client's ambitions. So let's dive into some of the possibilities that are unlocked when you're activating Copilot and some of the next steps for you. First and foremost, I want to touch on Copilot Chat. Because Microsoft has gone through a bit of a rebrand when it comes to their different Copilot solutions, specifically when it relates to M365 Copilot. So first and foremost, Copilot Chat is the interface to their ecosystem of AI models, and it delivers broad AI access, processes transformation, and delivers enterprise-grade security and compliance while managing intelligent agents. As a reminder, Copilot Chat is that free option, right? So when clients are signing into copilot.microsoft.com without a Copilot license, they do have access to Copilot Chat. And when using your enterprise-grade account, right, you may not receive all of the benefits that come with the graph grounding that a full license does, but this is still an opportunity for you to secure your clients and how they're using AI, right? Especially for some of your clients who may not be paying for an AI solution. Even though they're not paying for an AI solution upfront, they will be paying for that sooner or later as their employees may be using shadow IT, shadow AI solutions, and not managing where some of that data may be going as well. So what's great about this is all of this is seamlessly integrated into the Copilot chat experience with agents activated on a consumption-based model if you need to, outside of the standard M365 license. And again, if we look at it across the board, right, you have the free secure AI chat with Copilot chat. You can leverage agents with this as well. And with the agents, again, consumption-based model is going to be key here if you don't have the full licensing. And it all still leverages all of the IT controls that are available in the Microsoft 365 as well. So you'll receive enterprise data protection and agent management, but not necessarily that full scope that you may get with an M365 Copilot license. And so that brings me into M365 Copilot. So while Copilot Chat delivers substantial value across an organization, its underlying framework is fairly simple. It orchestrates large language models within a secure, compliance-bound environment. And so this means that Microsoft 365 Copilot goes beyond chat, combining the power of cutting-edge LLMs with your content in Microsoft Graph, which means documents, emails, calendars, chats, making the results and the responses from Copilot more relevant and contextual for you all. And all of this comes to deliver accurate, relevant responses ultimately, right? It's very much, when you think of the difference between Copilot chat versus Copilot, M365 Copilot really is like having a personal assistant when you're using this tool, right? And that's because it's pulling from the Microsoft Graph to give you more contextual and relevant responses. And so when do you want to address this, right? The question is, where do you start with AI? I know a lot of your clients are asking this question as well, right? What I will say is the best answer to this is securely, right? The first place to start is security ultimately, right? And a lot of that leverages the Microsoft 365 licensing that you are implementing that your clients are using currently. Copilot respects the compliance boundary and policies managed through native Microsoft security tools like Entra, Intune, Purview, Defender. And what this means is organizations can feel safe as they're scaling Copilot through departments, through their organizations, especially those departments and groups that may be managing sensitive data, like financial data, human resources data, employee data, personal PII, and more, right? And all of this to say, for your clients out there who may not be using an E3 or E5 license, right, and they might be using Business Premium or Business Standard, right, this is a great chance to talk about Business Premium, especially with the release of the new add-ons as well, with Purview and Defender, where you're getting the enterprise-grade security suite at an SMB price that's made available for SMBs as well. And so all that to say, as I'm focusing on SMBs are really shaping their AI journey at their own pace, right? Whether they're paying for it up front, or they're going to pay for it later down the road. And when I say pay for it later, I mean in terms of the impact that using shadow AI may have on an organization. And so now for SMBs, they have options, which is great, right? When we talk about Copilot and Copilot chat, organizations can really tailor their transformation to fit their teams and their goals while remaining secure, right? Because an organization, they may not want to license everyone with M365 Copilot, but they can still ensure that those employees are using a secure AI experience with Copilot chat, right? And it all combines into there so you can continue managing, organizing, and optimizing. And so start by empowering your clients with uh, M365, start by empowering M365 power users with M365 Copilot, because these are the people who will benefit from it the most because they're maximizing a lot of the feature set in M365, right? They manage their calendars and Outlooks, they're managing their teams, they have good data storage and organizational practices. They may be even labeling, sensitivity labeling their own material as well. And this phased approach really allows SMBs to develop the skills required in this AI era and experience the value of Copilot chat before purchasing an M365 Copilot license, and expanding their repertoire, right, from chat to Copilot to agents, to deliver that full Microsoft 365 Copilot experience. And lastly, the how. This is one of the biggest questions we get. It's one of the questions we get the most, not just here, but all the different events that we run. So to break it down into just a few key points, the first point here is it's key for partners to develop their AI strategy from within, right? Acting as their own first customer, right? And this applies for our partners out there too. If you haven't purchased a Copilot license or you're looking to deploy Copilot internally as well, right? A good AI strategy starts from within, acting as your own first customer and understanding that everyone else's AI journey is going to be different from what yours may be. This allows for a deeper development of capabilities and processes to support yourself and your customer's success. And here's a breakdown of the things to consider as a partner when building a holistic AI strategy, right? And some of this may look familiar to you, some of this may look be brand new, but we've boiled it down into 3 steps. The first being business strategy, business outcomes. Then we're looking at transformational strategy, which is the technical transformation. And then lastly is the user adoption portion here. And so, as we mentioned earlier, Copilot is built with the foundational security in mind, with Microsoft's comprehensive approach to security, compliance, privacy, and responsible AI. So on top of that, you can layer on additional security capabilities to discover AI risk, protect sensitive data, and govern Copilot usage, right? And each one of these 3 buckets is expanded with some of those new add-ons that Microsoft has released as well. And again, keeping it at a cost-effective price for many of the SMB organizations that you're working with, right? Whether you're looking to secure access, protect that sensitive data, or govern the usage all up. And govern the usage all up across Copilot Chat and M365 Copilot. And so the last piece here in terms of the how that I want to bring to you is some of the new AI readiness services that our pro services team is offering. I know Alex touched on some of the security, the modern work, biz app services that they currently offer, but we have expanded our services so you can now look at AI readiness prep and go through some of this with our pro services team, right? Managing cyber hygiene, going through and paying the technical debt, data governance, all leading up to introducing Copilot and then beyond, right, into the Copilot enablement piece. And so for all my partners out there who are looking to know where you can keep growing your skills, how you can continue staying on the forefront of Copilot and making sure that you're staying on the latest and greatest, because Copilot is one of those tools that's changing rapidly. AI is a tool that's changing rapidly from month to month, from day to day, right? When we see different feature sets come, different skill sets as they introduce new upgrades. First and foremost is continue your growth in Pax8 Academy. We do have a Microsoft Hub in Pax8 Academy where we drop a lot of updates across the Microsoft stack. So this will have on-demand courses, hands-on labs, and Microsoft updates all in one convenient area for you. So this is a great place to start and a great place to navigate from. But if you're looking for more focused Copilot or AI learning. First and foremost, we do have our new data and AI guided growth track. This is great for any partners out there who are just trying to get into the foundation of AI and really understand how you can become AI mature for yourself and for your clients. Then we have a more specific Copilot guided growth track. So this expands on the data and AI guided growth track, but with a specific focus on Copilot. And then additionally, as many of you know, we do run a lot of enablement outside of Pax8 Academy as well. So a couple of the ones that I do want to highlight coming up later this month, we will be in Chicago. We'll be talking about Copilot in Chicago. So if you're looking to get a good crash course, we'll be in Chicago for one day. And we'll be going through all things Microsoft Copilot, Copilot Chat, as well as agents. So if you're looking to get up to speed with some of your sales skill, that's a great place to be. Later this month on the 30th, we will be running a virtual session that will focus specifically on the secure and deploy aspect of M365 Copilot. So we'll be touching on some of the security foundations that I talked about, as well as some of the new SKUs that Alex mentioned earlier as well, and how you can layer in some of that. And then additionally, we'll be bringing those back as well. So if later this year in December, if you're in New York, we'll be back there for very similar content and running a different virtual session in December, but stay tuned for that. I'll drop the links for our September ones here in just a second for you to register. But if you are in Chicago, we'd love to see you there. I know we just spoke with our Houston group a couple weeks ago, and that was a great event, great turnout, and a lot of partners found it valuable. So I'm really excited to get with some of our North Midwest partners here as well. And so just driving into some of the enablement updates, right? Just continuing on our enablement conversation here. First and foremost, I just want to touch on for any of my partners out there who are going to Beyond Amsterdam, and I know there are a few of you out there, whether you're in the US, Canada, or if you're joining us internationally, I know there are a few of you going to Beyond Amsterdam. One thing I did want to share with you all is we are doing a Microsoft pre-day. So this is a great chance for you to connect, not just with our Microsoft executives who will be there, but also our Pax8 Microsoft team that will be there. You'll see a number of people from our corporate team, Kristen, Ashley, some faces you'll recognize, as well as some of the local folks out there as well. And we'll be focusing not just on business sessions, but also technical sessions as well. And again, just a great crash course in person to catch up on all things before you jump into Beyond for the 2 days. Additionally, I know I just mentioned Houston and our Copilot bootcamp we did there is an amazing success. Thank you to all the partners who joined us across both days. We loved having you. We loved all your questions. We loved the conversation. And I'm really excited to now share that we are running our Modern Work Bootcamp in person. I know it says August. Apologies. That is October 28th and 29th. So coming next month, at the end of next month, we'll be bringing our Modern Work Bootcamp in person. And here we'll be focusing on some of the core Microsoft 365 security features before jumping into the AI conversation and looking at how you can expand your current offerings and services with AI business solutions. I'm personally really excited about this one because we are bringing this one back to Denver. It's been a while since we've done a boot camp in Denver, but with this, I'm really excited because we are hosting this event in our brand new office in Denver, Colorado. So for our longtime partners and our partners who are based in Denver, I know many of you have seen the old office. You've come in, you've joined us for events there. You may have even met your sales team. I'm really excited to bring you all into the new office, bring you in front of our teams there, and give you a chance to check out the new space and really get immersed into the learning experience while we're there. We'll drop that registration link here as well. I'm actually really excited. We do have limited capacity, so one thing to remember there, I think we have room for about 75 partners. If I'm not mistaken, I think we have about 30 already signed up. So if you are interested, definitely sign up sooner rather than later, just so you can guarantee your spot and ensure that you're able to get in before that registration closes out. And then lastly, up here, we do have our virtual sessions. Again, we're running sessions for Copilot up until the end of September. One that I do want to point out is we do have the agents course that we ran in at the beginning of July for the end of September. So this is a great introduction and crash course into all things Copilot agents in just an hour-long session. So if you're not familiar with agents and you want to get up to speed, great place to start. And for our hands-on labs, we just wrapped our first Copilot Agents hands-on lab last week, and that was a great experience. We heard a lot of great feedback from partners, and we'll be bringing that back for October through December. But for those of you out there who are more familiar with agents, or you may have joined that course, we are doing a follow-up to that with a third-party app integration. So this is a great way for you to learn how to connect different tools that your clients may be using into a Copilot agent. So think, for example, if your clients are using things like Salesforce, Jira, how you can plug that into Copilot agents for it to pull data from, and again, just making the responses more contextual and relevant for your clients ultimately. And what's great, all of this is in Pax8 Academy. Again, we are keeping this as our central place for a lot of your enablement here. So we do have a QR code if it's helpful, but I can also drop the link in the chat window. If you're having trouble with the QR code, just let me know in the Q&A and I'm happy to drop that in. But you'll find all of those sessions that I just mentioned, the enablement sessions and the hands-on labs posted here. And definitely follow or bookmark this page because we will be posting the October through December sessions coming later this week here as well. So stay tuned because as we launch those sessions, you can get a jump on it and register early, especially for some of those hands-on lab options because I know some of those fill up really quickly and some of them are really popular with our partners. So again, follow, bookmark this page. That way you can continue to stay on the up and up, and we will be putting out all of the new enablement sessions and hands-on labs here. And that, again, that's just enablement sessions and hands-on lab. If you are looking for our channel events, so mission briefings, boot camps, momentums, all of that is on pax8.com/events because those are typically our larger events, whereas this is more one to few enablement sessions. And as always, if you're looking to stay up to date on all of the latest industry trends, what's happening in the Pax8 world, what's happening in the Microsoft world, but also tune in and learn from other industry experts and make sure that you're staying ahead of the wave. Definitely check out our Technically Unraveled podcast starring Kristen Fehrenbach. We release new episodes every Thursday, and I do think she'll be going live come October for Beyond Amsterdam. So again, if you missed out on Beyond Denver and you're going to be in Amsterdam, or you just want to stay up to date on some of the things that are coming out of Amsterdam, definitely check out our Pax8 YouTube channel. This is where you can find a lot of that content. And it's also where we post the recordings from this event as well. You can find that on the YouTube channel as well. And as always, we'll have a few resources here available for you and that we can share out here in just a moment. But with that, brings me to our Q&A. I know we've gone through a lot of content today, so I'm going to pop into the Q&A and see if we've missed any questions. I know we've gone through a lot. Thank you so much to the team on the back end for helping answer a lot of the questions. Sharonda, Alex, Morgan, really appreciate it. So taking a look at what we haven't answered yet, just going through. I see a good question from Greg. Will the business premium add-ons appear in the partner benefits package in the future? Ooh, that's a great question, Greg. At this time, we don't know if the new add-ons are going to be in the new business premium. The new business premium add-ons are going to be in one of the benefits package. Let me take that back to Microsoft to see if we can get some insight. But at this time, I'm going to say no. And I don't think Microsoft has it on its roadmap just yet. But we'll definitely keep an ear out for that and update you in this next year if that does change. Because I know Microsoft is pretty good about updating those benefits packages. But I know they did a refresh earlier this year as well, where they added Copilot licensing in there. Coming down. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Sharonda, for sharing those event links. How do these SKUs compare to the I see we had a follow-up question on the E5 security add-on question. The E5 security and the E5 compliance add-ons are specific for E3. If you are looking to add that feature set with Business Premium, you're definitely going to want to refer to the new Purview and Defender bundles that Alex went through earlier. And I believe it comes in at a lower price too, compared to those two SKUs as well. So for your SMB customers out there who are using Business Premium, it's a great chance for them to get into some of that security feature set that they otherwise wouldn't have unless they upgraded to a higher tier SKU. And I think we've gotten most of the questions. I see a lot of questions that we answered via the chat, but I haven't seen much follow-up there. But I'll leave it open for just another minute if there are any questions. But if there are not any other questions, I just want to say thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate you giving us your time on a Monday to walk through Microsoft program updates, because I know Microsoft is regularly changing things, especially because we're now in that August to October time period where I know it's very transitional for Microsoft, where they're either updating some of their announcements, they may be pushing things back or releasing new things. So again, appreciate you all spending your time and joining us today, and look forward to bringing you even more updates come October once we've fully transitioned into Microsoft's new FY26, where they'll be landing a lot of other updates as well. With that, we'll go ahead and close out. I know we'll stay open just for a few more minutes for any questions that come through. But if not, I hope everyone has a wonderful Monday, a wonderful week ahead, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.